This is part 4 of the Victorian stairwell renovation, and in this video we're going to go over the skirting boards. I'll show you how we stripped the old paint, sanded them back and then repainted them. I hope you enjoy it. I'd like that to be black rather than brown. Up here we've got a strange area where this part is wood, and then this bit here must have had damage over the years, so that's all plaster. But it's actually not too bad. It is missing its moulding. It's got a very small profile on the moulding, and I'd like to keep that, but it's such a small section, we might just leave it. There's an example of how much paint there is on everything. I mean, to be honest, that's a crap example. There's been some areas where you won't believe how much paint and crud and plaster is on it. I think since I last took video clips, the whole skirting board has now been scraped and sanded and filled in the areas that it needs. And even this like top landing step here, the scraper that Sam's using in that clip, it's a blade and it cuts through all of the layers of paint. A lot of it is kind of shellacs and varnishes. There's so many layers on it from various coats over the years. There's so many dents and knocks on them already. We don't actually need it to be taken right back to the bare wood. The best course of action is to just use that little blade scraper to get as much of the layers of paint off as possible. Sand it with the sander, and any areas where there's little cracks or holes we'll use some filler. Every time I pick up the camera it gets covered in dust. That's probably why we don't film, because, well, for a start, I just forget, but also because it's quite dirty work and you just kind of get stuck in. I think we've kind of been doing a lot of work, going rogue without the camera, so I should probably update on that. This skirting board has had one coat and we still need to finish the top. We've got a tool for getting the top edge really neat, which I've not tried yet, so hopefully that will work. I just painted it freehand in the end, did it old school. This section here, there isn't a skirting board, there's no wood. The skirting stops there, it re-begins down there. At some point you can see through the primer that someone had painted a skirting board on the wall just to match. We're not going to do that, we're just going to paint this all whatever colour we end up picking for the wall. I think in future we'll come back and we'll put some wood in. A bit of fakery with paint can be really successful, but if you've got that much, like it's really quite tall. There's like my hand for scale. It just looks a bit naff, so we're going to come back to that maybe next year. This is a little section that I did last night of black skirting, which I had to create a bit of a fake skirting here. So you see what I mean? You can kind of get away with it if it's a small enough section. And then this bit here is wood, so just where it meets that little bit there. And it's a lot lower here too, like this is a shorter skirting board. So that needs another coat, but I just kind of, I did a freehand cutting in on that, and it's not too bad because the wall is really rounded here, and it's also, there's a lot of plaster lumps and bulges, so I had to do a bit of visual trickery there just to make that look straight. I think I can see a couple of high spots. I'll fix that with the second coat, but it's not too bad. I'm just using a tiny brush for cutting in the line and trying to make it as neat as I can. We're going to see a huge time jump here because we had loads and loads of delays, and I'll go over those in a separate video. I didn't film for a long section of the progress, so you'll notice that all of a sudden we've got a green wall and I'm painting the skirting board again. I had to paint the skirting board probably about 3 times, and so I'm just like recutting in the line and any areas where there's like a splat from the green. You can also see by this stage how dark it looks in the footage. That was because it was getting into October, November. I really wanted it to be done before Christmas, which we didn't quite get there in the end. I'm using a small brush for the same reason as before. It's more precise, and if it gets any kind of clogged up oil paint on it, I can just chuck it away at the end. It's like a shiver there. It's so cold out here. It's chilly, isn't it? This is like my penance. What time is it? It's like 4:30. Look how dark it is outside. Doesn't it? I feel like going to bed, honestly. Well, I'll join you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll have another video out soon.